Welcome to Birch Tree Tapping Science. This is a part of my Alaska series of Science in Alaska, and this part is something that a lot of Alaskans do because we don't have maple trees in Alaska, but we do have a lot of birch trees. And birch sap can be boiled down and come up with syrup just like maple trees can, and you can have a topping for your pancakes, or you can use it just in water to drink. What's interesting about it is how trees produce sap, and we're going to do some science experiments on it. I'm going to explain them. The three that I'm going to do, there's many of them that you could do. If you have a birch tree in your backyard, you may try this. Otherwise, you can just follow along. This is going to go over a number of days, and you just see a couple of the videos that I post. So I've come up with three experiments I'm going to show you up here. The first one is, which size spile will produce more sap? Now the spile is what you put into the tree. It's the tap that you put in. So I'm going to use different size tubings. You could carve wooden spiles, and there's a lot of things on YouTube. If you type in making your own spiles in the YouTube, it'll show you many different ways to make them. I'm doing this because it's very cheap. Some of the stuff costs less than 17 cents a foot, and you can get it down at the hardware store. That is open right now, but I bet if you dig around in your parents' garage, you might find some of this stuff. You might even use a straw. That might work. But we're gonna do an experiment on different sizes. This is the 1/2-inch size. It's just PVC pipe. This is some P-Tex tubing that is 3/8 of an inch. That's the hole inside. I'm getting a little smaller with a 1/4 inch tubing. That's about like that. And then we have the smallest, which is this tiny stuff. That's 1/8 of an inch. And we're going to see which one will produce the most sap and works best in the tree. And we're also going to try to see, cost-wise, if we are going to do a lot of birch sap collecting, you're probably not going to get a lot of this stuff, where drilling holes in the trees using this might be more efficient. We're going to see if it works, and we'll compare them all. I have the days written to day 3. We're probably going to make the chart longer. I just wanted to show you how we set up the experiment. And then today I'm going to drill 3 trees, 3 different sizes, and we can get started. I'll show you how to collect the sap with a bucket. You can come up with any system that you would like. And we'll see what we come up with. I will tell you that the science behind this compared to maple syrup, unfortunately, birch sap is a different type of sugar, and it takes a lot more to boil down to make syrup than would be maple trees have. It will take close to 100 gallons just to make a small little container of birch syrup. We're going to try to come up with maybe 20 gallons. We'll see if we can come up with just a little bit for maybe 1 serving of pancakes. If you have a lot of birch trees in your backyard, maybe you and your parents or your brothers and sisters, I'm going to tap all the trees here at school and see how much I can get. Maybe I can get 100 gallons. I don't know. I've never done this before. I've only done maple trees. I did maple trees when I was younger, so this is new to me. It's something I've wanted to do, I was interested in. I'm hoping you try new things that you want to do. That's experiment number 1. Using the science process, we'll do the same thing. I wrote out my question, which size spile. I wrote out my hypothesis. I think a 1/2-inch spile will yield the most. That's just my guess. You might have something different. We're going to find out. We will write a conclusion, and we will graph it out and see later. My second experiment, should we use a hand drill or a power drill? So to go into the tree, many YouTubes, you will use a power drill, cordless power drill. Don't have your parents' extension cord over the wet grass or in the snow. I don't want you to get electrocuted or short out your parents' electricity. You can use a power drill. Ask your parents first. Or use a hand drill. Now, there is some debate on this. If you look on YouTube, you'll see a lot of people use power drills, and a lot of people say, no, use a hand drill, because in a hand drill, it's not as fast. You hold it, and you hold it still, and it goes a lot slower. And remember, your drill bit, a lot of you notice this, especially in this fall when you use drills, that when you touch the drill bit, it was hot. Well, the friction creates heat. And some people believe that if you have a drill that spins around really fast and it's creating a lot of heat, that actually harms the tree and might what's called cauterize the wood, so then the sap doesn't, it's like a wound, like all of a sudden you get a scab, you're not going to bleed anymore. And if you have a scab on there and cauterizes it, that your blood doesn't come out, then you're not going to get any sap. So there's a lot of people who believe that this is not the way to go, that you should use hand drill and go really slow. Now you could probably use a drill like this and go super slow too, and like only press it and maybe go like that, and that will suffice compared to a hand drill. But we are going to experiment with that. We're going to take a look if a hand drill or a power drill will work, and I'm going to keep it at a 3/8 inch spile and just see, we have to hold, that's our constant, and our variable is going to be the type of drill. And then the last one we're going to do is going to be, what is the best temperature for yield? We talked about this a little bit already. We have done some research I did online that it has to be days of 40 to 50 degrees and nights below freezing, which we're coming up on. This is our first week we've had above freezing temperatures. During the day, 40 degrees, and at night it's hanging around 30. Next week I think it looks like we're going to be in our 50s. So we are going to get started, and we're going to keep track of the days. I have 13 days set up here, and we're going to keep track of the temperature during the day and the temperature at night. We'll write them both down there, and then we'll take a look at all of our buckets and see what our yield is, and maybe come up with an idea of what is the best temperature. And what you can do is you can look on NOAA, and you can predict when you're going to get a lot of birch sap. The pictures I've seen on YouTube is that when it's running really well, it runs out a lot. I mean, you can collect gallons in a day off of one tree. So we'll see if that's right or not. So that's the introduction to our birch tree tapping. I'm going to stop it now because I'd want to keep all these under 7-8 minutes. The next one, I'm going to show you how to make your spiles.